It is that time. What's going on, guys? It's me, Westtown HD. Guys, you haven't seen me on this channel. I don't remember. It's been too long now, bro. But traditions can never die. Reaction videos and discussion videos are here to stay. So we've got our yearly Game of the Year discussion video. It's a little bit late this year, unfortunately. Life got busy. Being an adult sucks. Taxes are gross. But all of that aside, we got a smaller cast this time in comparison to previous years. We're going to try and keep it a little bit shorter for you, because in previous years we have gone way over time. So so this year, I just got two guys with me. I've got your bro, Hayden. You know him, you love him. What's going on, bro?
Yo, there was technically a Donkey Kong game this year, but it's not on my list.
Now that's crazy. Wait, what Donkey Kong game this? Oh, wait,
Mario versus Donkey Kong, you hater.
Oh! Oh, shoot. And that that voice of treason you hear is that boy Trent. He was back by popular demand, the one who had FNAF on his list last year. That's Trent. Trent, how you doing,
Let's
buddy?
go. Doing good.
Good.
I promise I will not have FNAF games on the list this year.
I don't like the way he said the list, implying that he's going to put them on a different list. But anyway, yeah, boys. We are ranking our top 3 games this year. I think usually we did 5, but I think 3 is actually plenty, just because we can talk a lot about our games, and we don't really like to feel rushed during the conversations. But yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. Which one of you wants to start?
Trent, why don't you go? I have no idea what you've played this year, so I'm very interested in what you have.
It's not FNAF, I hope.
Okay. Are we doing the honorable mentions first, or like?
Well, save the honorable
between 2 and 1?
mentions for before the last one.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool. Right. So the first game on my list is a little indie horror game that's kind of blown up recently. It came out, I think it was October. Let me double check that. It's called Mouthwashing.
Mouthwash. This only Trent,
Yeah.
brother. Only Trent.
I don't know this game. I gotta look this up.
Yeah. I'm gonna look this up
Markiplier
too.
played it. How do you not know the game?
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's this horror game that came out on Steam here a couple months ago. I think the end of September actually, and it's like a PS1 style graphics for the most part,
Okay.
and they nailed it pretty well. Also, kind of mashed with like early PC, and it's a pretty short game, but I put it on my list because horror games usually don't really get me, but this one messed with me like quite a bit. Like it's very like psychological, and it has one of the few jump scares that's actually gotten me in horror, and I'm very happy about that.
Is this made by Puppet Combo? Do you know? It looks like something similar to their style of games.
It is made by Wrong Organ.
Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
Trent, you're right though. This absolutely nails the like PS1 early PC. Yeah, I played a lot of PlayStation 1 games back in the day, and this they absolutely nailed it. While not, it looks like a modern take on PS1 games. I have not heard of this. This is cool.
Yeah, it's very good. It's got like a pretty decent story told throughout. It's not too hard to piece together, but it'll show you like the setting is on like a freighter ship going through space, and it starts you off like right before it collides with an asteroid. And you play as the captain of the ship. I'm gonna say this just because it's the very beginning of the game, and for some reason you turn off the autopilot so that it steers into the asteroid and crashes into it. You do find out why you do that later on, but it has you switching between a couple different characters, and it'll be like this much time after the crash and this much time before the crash, kind of piecing together the story. And it's called Mouthwashing because very early on in the game you go to the cargo bay to see what's in there because you're kind of starting to run out of supplies. And it's this massive room, and every single box is just filled with mouthwash.
I think I just found a screenshot of that part. I was about to ask, but okay.
Yeah, I was wondering. It was like mouthwash. Are you a fucking dentist, a hygienist? Like,
Yeah, no, this old man is just like mouthwash. This has alcohol in it. I'm 15 years sober. Time to
There's
throw that
no
out the
way.
window.
There's no way that that's a plot
Yeah,
point.
these people start drinking the mouthwash, and it starts making them like slowly go insane. And I mean, you combine that with being stuck on a ship in space. Everybody goes insane, and I don't want to spoil too much. I recommend it. It's
Yeah,
not too long.
is this game on anything other than Steam? I don't play I don't really play on PC, but is this on anything else?
I think it's just on Steam right now. I could be
Oh
wrong about
man.
that, but if you ever do get a computer, it's absolutely worth a play, and I don't think it's very demanding either.
Same
Yeah,
as
you
That's
can play
awesome.
this.
PS1
You
game. I
can
wouldn't
play this on a
imagine it.
GTX 560.
I'll just bring my microwave into my office and start playing it on that.
Dude,
Yeah,
but
that's
you'll
probably
have to
powerful enough.
uninstall. You have to uninstall Skyrim though.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Trent, you've sold me on this. This looks really cool.
Yeah, no, it was very, very good. I was thoroughly impressed. I picked it up just because it was on sale for the winter sale, and very, very good. I don't want to again. I don't want to spoil too much on the story.
Hmm.
I just recommend you play it whenever you can.
Awesome.
I am a wuss when it comes to horror. Resident Evil being the exception because I figured out how to play those games. So I might not personally take. Oh, then again, I mean, you said Markiplier played it, right? I might check his Let's Play and see if. But bro, horror games get me. Like it does not take much for a horror game to make me not sleep. I am so easily frightened. And if it messed you up and you play a lot of horror games, nah, I don't know what it would do to me.
Yeah, no, they're very psychological, and there's like a bit of gore too. Oh, hey, just yesterday it passed 300,000 copies. That's nice.
Damn, for a smaller indie kind of, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's one of their. Yeah, they have a couple other games, but this was their first one to really blow up.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Hayden, go ahead. Take us away with your number 3.
All right. So my number 3, I was going back and forth between my number 3 and my number 4, which is going to be an honorable mention later. But this was a game that I really liked when it came out, and I replayed it recently, and my love for it actually went up a bit. So my number 3 is going to be The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Okay.
This game, I'll say straight up, it's not my favorite 2D Zelda. Not even close. It's probably maybe 4th or 5th. But I think this game does a lot more than I think what it does. It doesn't get enough credit for. The gameplay is incredibly inventive. Where I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, either know it or have played it, but you have your ecosystem where you can basically copy any object or enemy or more. I don't want to say too much, but etc. In the game to for the sake of puzzle solving, for the sake of combat, and I feel the more you experiment and the more you learn the game, the more fun you're going to have with it. Because I played it the first time and I really enjoyed it, but I played it a second time on hero mode. And hero mode essentially, doubles your damage that you take. Hearts don't drop from enemies, so you have to be a lot more resourceful, but you also have to understand the ins and outs of the echoes. And on top of that, you have to understand how powerful of a tool bind is. Bind lets you. It's kind of like magnesis from Breath of the Wild, where you can attach yourself to things and move them around. It
is so much like magnesis. Yeah.
But just unfurling this game and discovering, I see a common criticism for this game is the combat isn't very good. Well, that I also question how well they were utilizing their tools. Like for me, for example, I would take enemies that I've echoed, bind myself to them, and then kind of move around, the battlefield so that there was a kind of a push and pull to combat where I would pull my echoes away from enemies when they were attacking and then move in when they were, vulnerable. That's really so I just feel like there's so many smart ways you can play this game. Getting into some of the world and the lore and stuff. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll be very vague here. But the lore really fascinated me because it directly connects to stuff in Ocarina of Time. And the world was super fun to explore. Again, I don't want to get into specifics, but it is very clearly based on A Link to the Past world. So there's similar landmarks and discoveries that if you know those maps pretty well, there's some really cool moments that you'll have playing this. Again, not my favorite 2D Zelda. There are some areas. I'll just say it. The Pharaoh dungeon was not a great place in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
The swamp dungeon, yeah. And I did actually encounter a game-breaking glitch that basically didn't let me progress through one of the later game dungeons. It was something that other people came across online, and someone actually did find a solution before Nintendo patched it. So I had to, kind of just do this really weird solution. But, overall, I had an absolute blast with this the first time. I loved it even more the second time. It was paced really well. It was, just fun to find everything. I 100% did it twice. Finding all the collectibles was just really... There was no downtime, I found, with this game. So I loved it.
Yeah, I played this game when I went on vacation in September. It came out the day I flew out, and I got horribly sick on vacation. So I got to play it a little bit here and there. But it's funny that Hayden mentions the Pharaoh dungeon, because there's a certain point in the game where the game opens up and it's like you can go to any dungeon you want. And I was like, the Pharaoh Woods. I love these guys. I'm like, oh, dude, Deku Scrubs, these are my boys. So I went over there, and after doing the dungeon, I got like so bored of the game after that, I put it down for like a solid month and a half before I came back to it. Yeah, I don't recommend. If y'all playing the game, do the Pharaoh dungeon last. Just trust me. It's not great, but I came back and I finished it, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty good. Well, I agree with Hayden. It's not like a favorite 2D Zelda of mine. I still think it's a pretty decent first jaunt for Princess Zelda.
And we got to talk about the water block. The water block is the main.
Dude, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The water block, bro. Like,
because not only was it my favorite echo for traversal because I could just climb up the side of a mountain, but I would just drag enemies into it and drown them. That was how I fought a lot of enemies. Is I would just find myself.
You think so much more outside the box than me. I'm like, damn, I never would have thought to drown enemies like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, like seriously, like if you just experiment with the echoes. Yeah, Trent, have you played this game?
I played a little bit of it, but didn't get too far in.
What did you think of it? Like with your little time that you played?
Bed.
Yeah,
you can use that thing for like whatever you want.
You can
the old bed is a very.
You can also put I learned this at some point in the game. You can put the bed down, and if you sleep in it, you just get health back. So if you're low on health, you put a bed down, you can get your health back. I don't know if that still works on hero mode, but
it does.
If I'm not mistaken, I think people have done bed-only runs of this game.
Yep. Speed runs of this game have been fascinating to watch. I haven't checked, but AGDQ is coming up, and I really hope it's in there because, speed runs of this game have been fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it's probably just a matter of everyone has their own unique way that they kind of do things, and I just love that Nintendo, at least for Zelda, they've kind of like found a way to make the 2D games and the 3D games like very open in concept. Like when I first played Tears of the Kingdom or Echoes, I was like, this feels a lot like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild in the way that it's open. If you think you can do it, you can do it. It's like they're getting really good at capturing that sense of wonder and that sense of like, I can do this if I just think I can do this.
And I think I agree with you. There's the inventiveness of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is very present in Echoes of Wisdom. But I've seen a lot of people complain about, there's no items, there's hook shot, there's no, where's my shovel? And to that, I counter that with a lot of the echoes that you get in dungeons double as, they serve the same functionality. Like, there's no hook shot, but the flying tile it serves the same function. And you don't have a shovel, but you get these little mole enemies that can dig holes. And anyway, I don't want to go on too many examples because I'm sure there's people that haven't played it yet.
Yes.
The utility is still there, and you will absolutely find the same satisfying progress that you would find in a normal 2D Zelda, but with the openness of, the recent 3D Zeldas.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
I think we should move on to your number 3 there.
Let's
Blake.
go. Alrighty, chat. All right. So, For my number 3, it was really tricky because we didn't decide until last minute that we were just going to do top 3. We were planning for top 5, but I think top 3 would just been better. I had to really crunch it down because I was like, man, I played so many good games this year. But my number 3 is actually going to be. I consider this eligible because it's not just a straight re-release. I'm referring to Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. It essentially it ports the base game to all platforms, and it also adds a whole another story path that is like all original content for the most part. That stuff, like the gameplay for SMT5 was already super good. It just really lacked in the story department, and I can just say like with all my heart that Vengeance addressed most of, if not all, the issues that I had with the base game. The story beats hit you more. They actually give you characters that you care about. All of that on top of the quality of life changes they made to the gameplay. It is incredible, and all I can tell y'all is just go get it. Like it's at this point now with like the Christmas deals and whatnot, it's probably down to like $20 wherever you go. It's super cheap right now, and it's got so much content. I think there's either 5 or 6 paths to do, and I did every single one for the platinum trophy. I played this game 5 times, brother. It's wild. It's such a great game, and I cannot recommend it enough.
We were just talking a little bit before we started the call, but I just got this game for Christmas a couple days ago, and I'm only a couple hours in. I played SMT5 as well the year it came out, and pretty much have the same feelings as you do. Great combat, great exploration, great just general gameplay, but I felt a little deflated at the end because of the lack of story.
Yes.
And I'm not super far in. I've only played about 5 hours, so I haven't really found many, if any, of the differences. But I am really excited to see where it goes, because it seems to be a pretty common feeling that, this fixes the story of base SMT5.
Oh, it 100% does. It does that and more.
Right on.
Alrighty. Trent, did you play? I can't remember. You bought Vengeance, but I can't remember if you played Vengeance.
I didn't really get far into it, no. It just didn't click with me.
Damn, that's unfortunate. It definitely reminds me of kind of like the Legends Arceus kind of system of like you get these new areas, you explore the areas, you get everything that you want out of the areas, you fight a few bosses in the areas, you move on to the next area. I love that formula, and they also adapted it for like Monster Hunter Stories. More JRPG monster collectors should do that. It's pretty good.
I will say, on that topic, I am very picky with monster collecting games. Pokemon being the obvious standout, as my favorite. But it's very rare that I get into a monster collector. And this SMT5, the base game, was my first trip into the SMT series. And I really enjoyed just the monster designs and the way you can, increase your monster strengths and, fusing and all that stuff. So I'm really excited to play this with a fresh coat of paint.
You should tell the audience what your fiance asked you yesterday when you were playing the game.
Oh, okay. So I don't remember the demons. It's a very early demon.
I can't remember his name either. Dude. It's like one of the first dudes you find. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a purple dude with like a pot belly. But she looks over to me and she's like, "Why does that thing have a penis? What did I buy you for Christmas?"
That is such the SMT experience.
And I just told her like, "Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it." Oh my gosh! If you've played SMT games, you know there's always going to be a dick somewhere, no matter where it is. And in Vengeance, they give it to you real early. All right.
They give you the penis real early. Yep.
Okay, cool. We can move on now to our number 2s. Trent, what do you got for us, bro?
My number 2 pick, we've got Stellar Blade.
Stellar Peak.
Ooh.
Yes. I really liked that game. As soon as they showed it for the first time back, like, I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago now, I immediately was like, okay, this is a Nier game, but it's not Nier. I'm buying it.
When it was Project Eve, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot it was called Project Eve.
Oh, I remember.
But yeah, it immediately looked like a Nier game, and I knew I was going to buy it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I think I actually enjoyed it like more than I enjoyed Nier Automata.
Ooh,
I'm pretty happy with it.
People praise Automata really, really heavily.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does definitely have a better story. Like Nier has a better story than Stellar Blade, but what makes me enjoy it more is just the diversity of the combat. There's so many options, whereas in Nier, your options are kind of like, you have a couple different types of weapons, and you have like your pod can like shoot bullets.
So
Yeah,
The map,
maybe I'm mistaken. I feel like some people, when this game came out, I feel like some people misunderstood what this game was. Am I crazy? Like I feel like I know the game was still very well received overall, but like didn't it end up becoming kind of like a Souls game?
oh, bro, it
it's
is. Yeah, it's a
it's like
Souls
kind
game.
of a Souls like, but
It's more similar to something like a Strangers of Paradise or like a Neo, but it does
And
still have your bonfires that you rest at, which are your camps. It's not as punishing. Like if you die, it doesn't. Well, actually, Trent, do you remember when you die? Does it? Where does it? It doesn't put you like too far back.
no, it just puts you back to like whatever the last camp you were at, or if there was like an auto save. The
and,
Yeah.
and by
most
the
I
way,
ever had to backtrack was like maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
okay. And by the way, that's not me criticizing the game. That's just I feel like I was just trying to remember if that was the case. I love Souls games, and Stellar Blade seems to be a nice mix of some Souls mechanics with, like you said, Neo style gameplay.
Yep. When they
Or
had
Nier. Sorry.
the demo for it came out, before it came out, of course, they would transfer the save to your full data. I was so deflated when I started playing the game, and I was like, it's got the lock on camera, it's got the dodge roll. Because I wanted, from the trailers, I was heavily under the impression, Bao and I both, heavily under the impression that it was going to be like a Devil May Cry Bayonetta sort of game, which is a lot more focused on like the combos than the actual dodge rolling and parrying. Stellar Blade is a very parry heavy game. If you don't parry, or like do like the perfect dodges, you're gonna be struggling on bosses. And honestly, I am getting a little bit tired of all these games like kind of adapting the lock on circle dodge roll kind of gameplay style that we're seeing. But overall, I still love Stellar Blade. I think that game is still incredible. I feel like if you tried it, Hayden, I feel like you'd also like it. Nowadays, most people just kind of just post like the horny aspects of it, but I mean, you can put even
Yeah.
whatever costume you want. The story is still really good.
Yeah.
And doesn't it have a really good soundtrack?
Dude, the soundtrack
I
is
think it was
incredible.
robbed for soundtrack of the year. I don't think Rebirth should have gotten it. I think it should have gone to Stellar Blade.
Wow.
It's
Yeah, I'll send you some tracks
extremely
later
good.
to kind of sample from Stellar Blade. It's got some really good ones.
It's like
Wow. Okay.
over 100 tracks, and all of them are like bangers in their own genres. And
Damn.
that's another thing
Okay.
too. It's got like it's very synth heavy in a lot of the songs, but it also has a very good diversity. Like you'll be resting at a camp, it's playing the peaceful music, and then the next room it's playing like heavy metal while you're fighting a boss.
That is very high praise for the music because Rebirth is not in my top three, but it was my favorite soundtrack this year. So that is
Yeah,
very high praise.
Rira's soundtrack is really really good. Like I was telling Trent, hasn't heard the dog escort mission battle theme, dude. I'm telling you, that song was in my head for months, bro. It's so
Yep.
good. And like they went to all this effort, and you hear the song twice in the game.
Hmm. But we're not talking about Rebirth. Trent,
We're not talking
spout
about
off
Rebirth.
on what else is
We're
great about.
talking about Stellar Blade. Another thing I loved about this game is I really like collectibles in games, and I love that
Mhm.
they're being brought back. And there are so many collectibles in Stellar Blade. You have outfits for like Eve, the protagonist, as well as Adam and Lily, like your two people who kind of help you throughout the game. And you can get like earrings and sunglasses. And there's, I think at this point, because they keep adding like free content updates as well, there's got to be like 80 or 90 different outfits.
Wow.
There's also
So many
like
different
you can
options.
collect soda cans throughout the game. That's the one that you kind of collect just to collect. And there are some rewards, but the main point of it is just collecting. And yeah, just very nice collecting game. I'm not great at Souls games, and this one being like an easier Souls game, uh, I felt like I was good at video games when I played it. especially when I'd pull off like a perfect dodge into a combo, and if you like broke the enemy shields enough times, there were like
And I think
unique.
that's a really good thing to compliment a game on. Is not necessarily being so difficult that when you overcome it you feel satisfied, but just the game letting you feel accomplished and understanding its mechanics is, I think, a really high praise that you can give a game.
Exactly. Like I'm not a huge fan of games being crushingly difficult just for the sake of it. I want to feel good at the game. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, finally, after 30 attempts, I beat this boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one thing I really liked is that bosses, especially, but even just the enemies, there were like unique finisher animations if you like damaged their shield enough times, and
Okay.
some of them were like just insane. Like I don't want to spoil too much, but
Right. Yeah, there were.
yeah,
Yeah,
some of them were like very gory in a satisfying way, and some of them are just kind of funny too.
just anime as hell.
Yeah, I just
Love that.
love that game. Um, the story's fine, but the gameplay and the like collectibles is where it's at for me.
Very nice.
Yeah, definitely. To those listening, if you have not peeped the soundtrack, definitely that's something that if you're kind of on the fence about the game, try the demo, but also look into the soundtrack because the soundtrack, yeah, like he was saying, the soundtrack is one of the best ones released this year. It's so good.
Yeah, the demo like is a pretty good like way of telling like if you're gonna enjoy the game or not because it
Exactly.
gives you a decent taste at like a good variety of enemies and you fight an actual boss like at the end of it.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's funny because I played the demo and by the end I was like, okay, Stellar Blade, I waited for you for so long, you're not for me, and I moved on. But then I game share with the homie Blue Streak Mike. If you're listening, Blue Streak Mike, you know what you did. He bought the game and then he quote unquote accidentally using the PlayStation app installed it on my PlayStation remotely instead of his. So I was like, you guy. So anyway, I was like, I'm gonna delete this, and I was like, I could just see where it goes, and here I am.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
might check out the demo. Yeah.
yeah, I was
Really
basically held at
recommend it.
gunpoint, but yeah, it's definitely super super worth it. All right, we will move on now to Hayden's number 2 pick. Hit us.
So my number 2 is very tonally different than what Trent had. This game was my biggest surprise this year. This is a game I didn't even have on my radar. I didn't even really know about it. And then it came out, and on launch day, I just saw so much about it that I was like, or I think it was the day before it came out, the reviews were just glowing. So I was like, okay, I got to get this tomorrow. I am talking about Animal Well. This game actually reminded me of why I love video games so much. So for those who don't know, this is a pixelated Metroidvania, which are a dime a dozen these days. But what this game does so differently than other Metroidvanias is it throws out combat entirely in favor for going all in on just exploration, brain teasing puzzles and secrets. This game thrives on finding secrets. To the point where there's not a line of dialogue in this game. It is all environmental storytelling, show but don't tell. I was actually scribbling notes down. I was making notes on a pencil with a pencil and paper, which I can't remember the last time I've done that in a video game. And I was comparing my notes with people online, like as the game came out. In that
That's
first
so
week,
cool.
there were like people online, like piecing their notes together. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but there are puzzles in this game that actually straight up require coordination with other people that own the game to figure out the puzzle solutions. It's just truly brilliant in how the story that it tells, the story that you make playing the game, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm always going to remember the finally figuring out these like super cryptic puzzles that give you all the pieces. It's just a matter of putting everything together. And I haven't even talked about the items, and I won't. I don't even want to give an example of an item. Like, I really want to leave it to people to discover this game. Like, going in as blind as possible is the best way to do it. But the items are so layered. Every time you get a new item, you'll probably think of like one use that you can get out of it. But then as you play the game more and more, you're going to find 3, 4, 5, so many uses for every item that you didn't even think of beforehand. And it just lets you explore so much more of the map than you initially thought was possible with this new acquisition. It really is a special game, and I didn't play Balatro, but I really wish that Animal Well got more love in the indie, with the indie awards this year at the Game Awards, because Animal Well is a once in a lifetime kind of game. It's that good.
Yeah, that was another game that Blue Street Mike had bought, and I was very tempted to give it a try. When did that come out? Because there was something else that came out, and I was like, I can't take myself away from this. When did that
came out? I think in like mid to late May. I think.
Okay, maybe it was Paper Mario then that I was playing.
Yeah, that came out around the same time. I think. Yeah,
that window. Okay, but yeah,
Animal Well tempted me on the winter sale yesterday. And I may still pick it up. I just know it as the Donkey video game.
That is what I know it as well. Yeah,
but I know that it's very, very good, and the soundtrack is amazing.
It's weird because I would almost say the sound design is amazing because there isn't really music in this game, but just the ambience and the sound effects and just like it's got a very unique sound. It's a very unique sounding game. I don't know how else to describe it, but the sound effects and just the noises that come out of the different creatures and inhabitants of the well, just they'll stick with me. They're just so unique and communicate such a sense of darkness, for lack of a better way of saying it. If you're going to play this game, be patient with it and don't look things up. It really is better that way.
I tend not to look things up in games because I feel like it does kind of ruin the experience, especially if it's like puzzle solving.
I platinumed this game. I rarely platinum games, but I platinumed this
year. Damn.
And there was only one trophy. This is the only thing I looked up in the entire game. There was one trophy I had to look up. But otherwise, and even then, when you platinum it, you're still not done. The well goes deep. There is a lot to this game that you don't have to see to quote unquote beat it.
He said the well goes deep. I just caught that.
Yep. The well goes deep.
So it's a Metroidvania, right?
It is a Metroidvania. Like, you are returning to previous areas, with new items, abilities. But there's no combat. There is no combat. It is all about puzzle solving.
So it's kind of like Ori.
Ori still has combat though. Does it? Really, really, like, Animal Well is really its own thing. I guess the second Ori game has more combat. The first one,
I only played the first one. I don't remember a whole lot of fighting.
You hit the X button near enemies.
Yeah, like you just kind of mash the button. But with Animal Well, like there's not a hint of combat. It's really hard to compare it to another game.
Okay. Definitely still on my radar to check out at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add, but otherwise we can move on to Blake's number 2.
Nah, I'm pretty good. What are you, Trent?
I think I'm good.
All right. Now my number 2 pick. Now this is the pick that's going to leave everybody wondering what my number 1 pick is. My number 2 pick is the most recent release of Sonic X Shadow Generations. Came out on all platforms just before the Sonic the 3 movie. Guys, this movie, this is very fun. This is a very funny situation. When this game got announced, everyone was like, oh, that's really cool that they're bundling a Shadow the Hedgehog game, like a new Shadow game, with Sonic Generations. That's really cool. Sonic Generations is going to be great. I bet Shadow game will probably be whatever. But the narrative flipped so fast to, man, it's really cool they gave us Sonic Generations with the Shadow game, bro. Like, it's just, the narrative around that just flipped so fast. And honestly, I respect it. I put these games as two separate games because they really, it's more like a collection. You get Sonic Generations on the title screen, you get Shadow Generations on the title screen. Shadow Generations is all new content, all new levels, all new assets. It plays more like Sonic Frontiers, but it's modified. Whereas Generations, it's just an HD port. You can tell they didn't really do a whole lot of like enhancing because in like the graphic settings on like the PC launchers, it's like you can set the resolution and it's 60 FPS. It's not 120. But like with Shadow, you can look at like all these different like variable settings you can mess with. It's got 120 FPS support. So you can tell Generations was kind of just like it was just an extra add-on that you got with Shadow. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Sonic Generations is incredible. And I really don't need to speak about Generations because everyone's played Generations at some point in their life. I think Hayden just went through Generations. And
just a couple days ago.
He's a known Sonic critic, and he liked it. So Chad, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
It's a pretty decent game. Now, Shadow Generations. Ooh. Yo. I had to stop myself from making this my game of the year because I was like, my number one, I love just a little bit more. But guys, I'm a huge Shadow the Hedgehog fan. Shadow the Hedgehog is like in my top 3 characters of all time. I love Shadow. The gameplay is great. The references, the callbacks. It felt like I was playing Sonic Generations again, but through Shadow's perspective. And I think they hit a really good, stride with that to kind of, because they on the title, like we were just calling it Shadow Generations, but we weren't sure what they were gonna call it in the game, and they just call it Shadow Generations. The music is incredible. The Dark Beginnings prologue that they released before the game came up, which, by the way, anyone who's playing the game, make sure you watch that before you play Shadow Generations, just to get some added context. It's just super cool, and the animation's incredible. Just their whole lead up with their whole fearless year of Shadow. There was some doubt because we had that year of Luigi, and people were like, character years were they're never gonna take off. I can't remember. I'm sure Hayden knows how much money did they lose in that year Luigi thing.
Oh my god, I don't know the exact amount, but like millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah, it was rough. So I was like, Sega, your track record. We all know your track record. Please don't do my boy dirty. And they didn't. This year has been great for Shadow the Hedgehog as a character, and just culminating with the movie and the game. It's great. I think Sonic is in a great place now, and like this is I know comments gonna be like, oh, it's the Sonic cycle. We're so back. We're doomed. We're so back. We're doomed. But like, I genuinely feel like I'm in the early 2000s again, and I feel like Sonic is firing on all cylinders. Shadow Generations is incredible. The boss fights are great. Like, I can't really talk about what's in the game without giving away what's in the game because it's so short. But yeah, it's incredible. If you just got into the franchise with like the movies, which is totally fine because those movies have brought in so many people to the franchise, pick up this game. It's worth the time. It's a great introduction. I personally recommend people to try and go back and play a few of the other ones before they play the Generations games, just because you'll get more out of the references. But if you've only got like a Switch or something, and this is like one of the only games you can play, then that's totally fine. Yeah, it's incredible. Hayden, you should talk a little bit about Sonic Generations because you just went through it.
Yeah, so I have not played the Shadow content yet, but I just picked this up right before Christmas, and I played through Sonic Generations. And while I still do prefer the 2D style of Sonic gameplay, just broadly, and that includes Generations, I overall did enjoy the game. The 3D and the 2D sections. There was definitely more polish in this game than some other titles in the series I've played. But the feeling of just running through these massive areas is really well captured in Sonic Generations. And some of the older games that are represented in Generations levels, they get to be a bit more flashy. They get to be more over the top. And that was definitely fun. And from what I've heard, Shadow Generations is just a better game than Sonic Generations. It just seems to be more fun, more exciting. I think more polished. I don't actually know, but yeah. So I do look forward to hopping into it when I can. Just got a couple games on the go, but yeah, I enjoyed the Sonic Generations portion of the package.
Yeah, I definitely say it's more polished. Generations was already an extremely polished game, uh, and Shadow Generations, like I streamed the whole game in one go, and I don't think there was a single time where I went to like switch a rail or jump or homing attack someone, and I just like went through a floor or something like that. I don't think there was a single bug. Now don't quote me on that because there might be a footage of me falling through a floor somewhere, but I don't remember that happening. Whereas when I was playing Forces, I was like, okay, there's duct tape in my ass, and I feel like I'm gonna fall through the ceiling. But yeah, Shadow Generation is super polished. Yeah, I cannot
That's
wait
really
to
good to hear.
hear what Hayden thinks of it. Yeah, Trent, what about you? Are you gonna be? Are you? Oh no, you did buy this, didn't you? I feel like I remember selling it to you.
I did buy it. I still haven't gotten to it. I mean, I got the achievement for completing Green Hill Zone.
I remember this.
No, that was on Xbox. That was the original Generations.
Yeah, yeah. I for those who don't know, um, I posted a picture of me playing on Trent's Xbox that he had traded in at work, and Trent was saying, "Bro, no, I swear I got further in Generations," and there was literally no save data. It's like, okay. After I beat Green Hill, the achievement popped on his account for beating Green Hill. I'm like, Trent, you did not turn this game on, bro.
They were saved out on my old Xbox.
But then why did the Green Hill achievement pop twice?
That was the chemical plant achievement.
Nah, dude, it was definitely Green Hill. It was definitely Green Hill. There's no way. Man, but yeah, that was my number 2. Yeah, so now I think we can all just take turns shouting out honorable mentions. I'll go first with an honorable mention. One that I'm sure Hayden, if he definitely had this as an honorable mention list, or he forgot to put it on there, but he'll talk about it too. Talking about at the beginning of the year, we got the fire, the heat, the incredible Prince of Persia Lost Crown. Bro,
Yes, sir.
what an incredible Metroidvania. I picked it up on PS2 last minute because I was like, I had just seen like gameplay and I was like, man, this is no, sorry, they released the demo and I was like, dude, is this Metroid Dread 2? Like, what is this? And I'm like, man, I gotta play more. So I bought it. I pre-ordered it like last minute. I played it on PS5. It had 120 FPS support, and I had just bought in a higher refresh rate monitor the previous year. Getting to play this game at a higher refresh rate, dude, oh my gosh, it's incredible. But it's an honorable mention, so I don't want to talk too much about it. Hayden, you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, this was my number 4. I was really debating between this and Zelda. But yeah, this was an early standout for Game of the Year. Very polished combat. There was a lot of moves that you could string together in this game in both the traversal and the combat, and that made it really
So
memorable
flashy.
to me. I think it had a really fun story as well. This was also a game that I platinumed. Again, very rare that I platinumed. I
Bro got
platinumed
2
quite a few
platinums
games
this year.
actually.
That's wild. He's locking in.
But yeah, loved this game.
Yeah, I remember there's one like super move you can do where you do like the 1-inch punch, and like bro, that was my favorite attack. It was just so flashy and so good, so good.
Yeah.
Trent, all right, give us an honorable mention from you.
Honorable mention from me, there was this great little kind of brought back like online web chatting, like chat rooms called web fishing. And it was just an online chat room with a fishing mini game.
Like Sega fishing, like just like bass fishing, like
No, it's very
just
similar to
fishing?
Animal Crossing, but you can like control the camera.
I have seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something my friend had wish listed since it got like announced, and they told me to buy it when it came out, and it was only $5, so I got it, and we played it a little bit, and yeah, very very satisfied with it. It's got some good humor and like some item names and stuff. So that was definitely like a big one for me this year.
Okay.
Love me a good fishing game.
Another honorable mention for me. I'm just going to fire off a few that I don't think Trent or Hayden had anything to speak about. Persona 3 Reload, remake of Persona 3. Still not the definitive way to play Persona 3 at this point because there's still, there's still the female protagonist in Portable. If you were to ask me what the definitive version of 3 is, I wouldn't have an answer for you. Everyone has their own definitive edition. I liked playing through Reload. I still had a lot of fun with it, but overall, it just lacking in a few places. The soundtrack was incredible, but I felt like it could have been more. I also played Unicorn Overlord right after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and guys, man, Unicorn Overlord is like we haven't gotten a Fire Emblem game in like almost 3 years, but Unicorn Overlord was like Fire Emblem on crack. It's an RTX strategy. Like it's a Vanillaware game, so it's got 7 different genres baked into it. Another incredible game, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which had just come out in October. Dude, I don't usually go super crazy for Dragon Ball games. Like I'm super casual with them. But when I got this game, I was like, man, I gotta get in the lab. I gotta start practicing this game. It's got like a crazy high skill ceiling with all the different things you can do. I played ranked, bro. I don't play ranked in games, but I played ranked for Sparking Zero. I got the platinum trophy for it, which took me, I want to say like around 40 to 50 hours, give or take. And I loved every single second of it. Stellar Blade is on here as well as one of my honorable mentions, but Trent already basically we already talked everything we need to about Stellar Blade. My second to last honorable mention is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Incredible game. The only reason it didn't make my top 3 is I felt like it's a little bloated at times, and with the new release on PC, I don't know if you saw this, Hayden, but they're adding something. I think it's called like Jumpstart mode, where it like skips the beginning of the game or something like that, and like puts you at like level 50, so you can like get through areas quicker or something. And I'm like, I didn't need all that. I just needed you to cut some of the mini game quests from being mandatory. Like that's pretty much like what I would need, because. Yeah, there's a lot of mini games in here, and after like the 6th one, you're like, okay, this is okay, I get it. And then there's like the last one, the tower defense one. I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Like it was getting a little long in the tooth. It was a pretty good 80-hour game, but it could have been an amazing 50-hour game.
This was an honorable mention for me too. Like I think this game has the highest highs of the year for me. Like when it's good, it's really good. The combat is just as fun as ever with some little tweaks that I think makes it just a bit more polished.
Dude, the aerial combat edition was so needed for remake.
That's what I was going to say. The aerial combat is much, very well appreciated. And some of the story stuff without getting into spoilers, because it goes to crazy town pretty much right away, in terms of story. But I don't want to get into specifics. But there's some really great moments with characters. I think of Barrett's backstory. How they handled that was amazing in this game. And the ending, what an ending is all I'll say. But yeah, there's definitely some lows in this game. Like Blake was saying, I feel like the Gongaga region just broadly was not fun.
Dude, traversal was not great in there. Oh my gosh.
And some of the mini games, I agree. Like to be fair, a lot of this is side stuff that you don't have to do, the mini games. But originally, I did want to see everything this game had to offer.
Oh yeah.
And for a while, it very much had that see thing, do thing, make brain happy kind of loop to it. But after a while, you're right, got too bloated. But overall, still loved it. I don't want to go on too far though.
If they released a single player game fully centered around Queen's Blood, dude, brother, I'd be there.
Queen's Blood is great, and
again,
some of the mini games. Some of the mini games are fantastic. Queen's Blood actually had a pretty intricate story that surprised me.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
but yeah, some of the mini games, yeah.
All right, and my last honorable mention, which I have a feeling might segue into something else. My last honorable mention is Astrobot. Spoiler alert, it's not my game of the year, but it is easily like my number 4. It's incredible. Astrobot is great. I'm not going to say a whole lot more because I have a sneaking feeling it's going to be brought up later. But yeah, you guys can shout out the rest of your honorable mentions if you want to.
Why don't you go for it, Trent?
Definitely Helldivers. I didn't play too much, but that game is very, very fun. It's just that I got it a couple months late, so everybody was kind of at the tail end of their Helldivers like stint, I guess is the word.
Dude, come back.
At the end of the phase
just dropped, bro. Everyone's back on.
Well, let's hop on it.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah, that one. I don't have too much to say about it. I feel like I need to bring this one up. The new FNAF game that came out this year is pretty good.
He did it.
He did the thing.
Pixel art was insane, and it was actually one of the best FNAF games in years. Like maybe even the best FNAF game. I won't dwell on that one too much. I feel like you guys probably don't want me to.
Hey man, hey, listen, bro. Speak your piece, bro. Live your truth.
Yeah, go off.
I'm kind of upset that Blake here didn't bring up Mario Party Jamboree.
Oh shoot! Oh, I did. And that would have been great because Hayden's been getting absolutely destroyed in that game historically since it came out.
I was about to bring it up actually, but
okay, good.
Trent, you go.
Yeah, just that is one of the best Mario Party games in years. Definitely the best one on the Switch. I'd say my favorite since Mario Party DS, which is like, almost 20 years ago at this point.
Mario Party DS is fantastic. Thank you for shouting that out.
And another thing, they brought back the hex spaces from DS.
They did,
and I'm very happy about it.
That's very interesting. Really quick. I still think I prefer Mario Party Superstars just by a little bit, just because I find that some of the boards in Jamboree are just like, I never want to play you again. The Goomba Lagoon one, I feel like it's just okay. The Bowser board, which I mean, I'm sure that it's meant to be horrible, but it's not that great. I haven't played the Cloud Top one, but I think Hayden said it wasn't that great. But I do love Coconut Mall. Coconut Mall is that what it's called, or is that the Mario Kart stage? Am I crazy?
That's the Mario Kart one.
It might as well be Coconut Mall. Rainbow Galleria is the name.
That one,
it might as well be Coconut Mall.
Yeah, I love that one. I love the concept of Roll'em Raceway. Like, you very rarely have boards that lend themselves better to longer games, and I think that's a really cool detail about Roll'em Raceway. And bro, it has Westernland, so I can't hate this game. I love Westernland. It's my favorite board from Mario Party 2, for obvious reasons. It's got a train.
Look, I'll say my piece real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I have had horrendous luck with this game.
It's been awful.
I can't believe, I cannot believe how badly this game has gone for me in terms of like actually winning. But I do recognize its quality. I actually, with Blake, I think I do prefer Superstars just a little bit.
The Jamboree buddies kind of disrupt the flow, yeah.
The Jamboree buddies are a very volatile mechanic, and I feel like there's a lot going on in this game that kind of slows the pace of the game down. Like, there's just so many events that can happen in one turn that it just drags a little bit, but it is still one of the best Mario parties for sure.
Definitely one of the better ones. It's definitely still better than Super Mario Party. We're not going to dispute that. It's definitely still better than that. And of course, all the ones prior, or rather, the ones on the Wii U and the Wii.
I do have one more quick honorable mention. I need to shout out the remake of The 1,000-Year Door. This was the only Paper Mario game I had not played, just because I didn't have a GameCube growing up. So I was going into this pretty blind, and I loved it. The visual overhaul was gorgeous. I don't care that it ran at 30 FPS. It didn't matter. The music, they redid the entire soundtrack. Every chapter had its own battle theme. So good from beginning to end. The partners were really fun. The combat, the battle system was definitely an evolution over the first Paper Mario game, because of course the first two Paper Marios were the only RPGs. But I think I do still prefer the original Paper Mario a little better. While I think the 1,000-Year Door has higher highs, I think I prefer Paper Mario. The original Paper Mario is more consistent chapter quality and structure. But yeah, I did love the game overall.
Yeah, with Thousand Year Door was also my first time playing it. I was super in love with it up to like the halfway point, and then I kind of slowly started to fall off of it a little bit. I kind of started to drag my heels. I think like the last like big highlight for me was like the island portion when you're on like the deserted island. I was like, this is super cool. But then there's a legendary backtracking quest in the end game, which apparently they cut down in the remake, but it still felt a little long in the tooth for me. Overall, I did like the game. I'm just not in any hurry to ever replay it. I'd probably go try the N64 game before I played this one again.
Sure. Do we have any other? That's it for my honorable mentions.
Left?
I did play the Prince of Persia demo, and it was very, very fun. I definitely need to pick up the full game sometime.
It's super worth it. Pick it up on any platform. And there's another bonus to this as well, is that the developers know how to optimize the game, because the Switch version runs at a locked 1080p 60. And it looks still
Yeah,
good.
I heard that. It was insane.
So, and you can pick this up on any platform, and it'll be incredible.
Cool. I actually didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, they are wizards. But yeah. Do we want to continue in the same order, or do you guys want me to go for my game of the year? How do you guys want to do this?
I don't know. I think Trent and I have the same game of the year.
I was also just thinking that.
I think we might.
All right, you know what? I'll let you guys do it. Go for it. You guys can do a duet.
Here, lead it off, Trent. Lead it off.
All right, so there's this really small indie game you guys probably haven't heard of. It's called Astrobot, and it's game of the year. Like Jeff Keighley said so it has to be true.
He did say so.
Yeah, I love that a platformer is getting so much recognition in the year 2024.
So good to see.
I mean, you look at all the past Game of the Year winners, and aside from It Takes Two was a standout, but they're all kind of, like action RPGs for the most part, or like just realistic, like story-driven games.
A walking simulator with a story.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Just
keep going.
Another thing I'd like to add is that we finally basically got Mario Galaxy 3 after all these years. PlayStation were the ones to make it.
And to jump off that, I think Astrobot really does deserve to be in the same conversation as Galaxy and Odyssey and these just really high quality, polished 3D Mario games. Because like Astrobot, there is not a pickle out of place with that game. It is so polished. It is so well crafted. There's a lot of mascots that don't get games anymore. Castlevania, Spyro, to name a few. But
yeah,
Astrobot recognizes these games and does so much more. And Astrobot feels like a mascot in the making.
They released Astrobot and then delisted all the Little Big Planet games.
That is still
they
so
have their new
wild,
mascot.
bro. Sackboy is out of here.
It really does pain me how poorly some of PlayStation and PlayStation adjacent mascots have been treated, but Astrobot remembers them, and even if you didn't have all the cameos, this would still be just a pitch perfect platformer with just the right difficulty. The challenge is there if you want it in some of the optional levels.
Oh yes,
but
the button void ones were some of those were spent some good time on them.
See, and what I found is, they were difficult, but they were never too long for me to feel like just throwing the controller up in the air and say, nope, that's it. Like it always felt accessible enough to give it one more try. I recognized, when I messed up, there was never anything that was unfair, I found. Like it really is just polished to a sheen. I can't compare the feeling of happiness I felt to any other game I played this year than I did with Astrobot. And without giving anything away, because I know Trent is still playing it, the penultimate sequence, the penultimate sequence, I will always remember that. Like, I will always remember it.
Literally what I'm playing right now.
Okay.
Bro's getting it
And I
under
have
the
to shout out the
wire.
fact. Oh, sorry.
I said Trent's getting it in under the wire.
He is. That due date is today. Don't worry, we'll give you an extension. But we have to talk about too that this game got free DLC and like
Yeah,
really
multiple
good
times.
free DLC. Like the cameos that they added in the holiday level that came out recently, the speedrunning levels. I was playing those over and over even after I got all of the collectibles in the level. I was still playing it just to try and lower my time. Like this game, I will always remember this game. This is such a special game, and I really hope that the industry pays attention to the attention that this game got, both critically and from the fans, because it's such a special game. Love Astrobot.
I need Astrobot to have the effect on the industry that Dark Souls 3 had the effect on the industry. I need that same wave. I need everything to be a damn 3D collectathon now.
True.
We're about to get another damn Croc the Crocodile 3D or whatever it's called.
Also, that level 1 theme, like I don't want to get too into specifics of like other stages themes because there's some pretty nice surprises. But the first stage's theme it's been an earworm for me all year. Ever since I played this game, it's been stuck in my head. I listen to it almost every day. But anyway, Trent, do you have anything else to say on Astrobot?
I'm a very big fan of all the cameos that are in it. Like I audibly said alone in my room, "Yo, let's go!" when I found the Amaterasu bot, because that's a series that was like long forgotten until the Game Awards. They finally, after 18 years, announced a sequel. So that will show up in a future Game of the Year discussion, I'm sure. But yeah, just all the series, and there's like series 2 that I didn't know about. I still don't know what the I think it was the 4th like cluster of like levels. I'm not sure what the last level was.
I had to look that up, but it's a game that I'm very interested in playing now that I know what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't know what it was either. I know exactly the one you're talking about.
I love that they also... I don't know if they advertised this in trailers because I really wasn't following the trailers for the game. Just as an adult now, if I'm going to buy something, I just try not to watch trailers because I want to play the game. But I loved how at the end of the world, it's basically like Kingdom Hearts. You get to like go to a different world and get like a different person's power. That is such a cool proof of concept. And I remember people were saying like, oh, these people need to make this game and these people need to make this game and blah, blah, blah. When they had like certain games trending on Twitter after Astrobot came out because people wanted Team Asobi to make those games. And I was like, man, it's so cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great that it's like kind of the first game. It's like it was really sad that all the like PlayStation Japan studios got shut down, but then they like all kind of formed together. What was left of them for developers anyway, and they made this, and I think it's great. They basically gave the big middle finger to Sony and said, "Here's your game of the year."
Sets a great precedent.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really hope that people take inspiration. I really hope we get more like 3D platformers and with lots of collectibles. I'd love a new Banjo-Kazooie game, but Xbox, you know.
They do have that ukulele remake coming out next year.
That's not Banjo-Kazooie, though.
They have teraflops. That's okay.
They Xbox do have that ukulele
Xbox
remake.
Does have teraflops.
Honestly, like, I'd love a new Banjo. I just want Rare Replay to go multiplat. That's the one Xbox game I want out of their dungeon.
Yeah,
it's probably the one they won't let out too.
But Blake, we are chomping at the bits to find out what your game of the year is.
Are you guys ready for this? Like,
let's find out.
I will be shocked if anyone, if you comment in the comment section right now, I saw Blake's game of the year coming. You're lying. You're lying to yourself.
So, if you're setting up this much, can Trent and I each have a guess as to what it might be?
Oh, go for it. Like, go for it. You get one guess, and I'll either... Well, I won't say anything, but... Yeah, you can have your predictions. Go on.
I am going to say Helldivers 2 is your game of the year.
Okay. Trent, what do you think?
You know what? That didn't come up in your honorable mentions. I feel like I got to guess
I might have
something
also
different
just
though.
forgot it though. Yeah, same for Mario Party.
Oh, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say Pal World.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I forgot to put Power World in the honorable mentions.
That's okay.
Uh,
It doesn't need to be there.
that would be wild, bro. I can hear Hayden sharpening his axe. Oh, you want to make Power World your game of the year, huh, bro? It's okay. Drum roll. All right, my game of the year for 2024 is Helldivers 2. Hayden got it.
Oh,
I don't know how he got that. Maybe it's because I was talking about how much I loved it earlier. But guys, when I first played this game, I didn't follow this game up to release. I didn't remember seeing it in the state of plays. I literally just bought it on a whim, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this game. It seems pretty fun. I got to play with my siblings. We had kind of hopped off Overwatch because they released Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 killed all of our interest in ever playing Overwatch again. So we moved over to Helldivers. Guys, I was playing this game constantly when it first came out. I was just trying to, first I was just playing with groups, but then I started to try and kind of play solo. I was watching videos on the lore. I was trying to get some of the stuff, different builds and going and whatnot, just to see what was good. Find my stride, trying different armor sets, all for spreading managed democracy across Super Earth. I took a big, long break from it, and I had honestly kind of forgotten about it. I wasn't even going to bring it up in my game of the year, but I got back into it about 2 months ago, and I got back hard back into it. They just had a massive update come out on Game Awards night as well, and I've been playing it over the last couple of weeks. It's so good. The player base is back up and booming again after Sony tried to kill it with fire for no good reason, which I won't get into, but that whole debacle was crazy. It is an incredible game. It literally feels like you're playing a movie sometimes. You can go on YouTube and you can find a million different videos of Helldivers 2 makes the best actors, or this song goes perfectly with Helldivers 2, because the stratagems, the massive explosions, the hordes of bugs or robots chasing after you as you're running in your Helldivers screaming for Super Earth, bro, and you got people on the microphone. Guys, Helldivers 2 is an incredible game, and I would recommend it to every single person with a PlayStation or a computer. Just get on there, spread some democracy for Super Earth. It respects your time so well. If you leave the game and come back in months, it will still give you the rewards. Every single week or two, they put out major orders for everyone as a conglomerate to do, and the rewards get sent to everybody. It doesn't matter if you logged on once and never played again. The next time you log in, you're getting every single reward that's happened since you played. And of course,
Wow.
it caps at so for example, each major order usually gives you 50 medals. You cap at 250 medals. So it's you won't just get $1 billion for being AFK, but they'll just give you stuff. If you've been away for so long, you'll just get things. Their battle pass system as well, I think they were the first to do this, and Marvel Rivals has adapted it too. When you buy a battle pass, you have that battle pass for life. They'll never take it away from you. So you can complete it at your own pace, and you can do it whenever you want. It's incredible. It respects your time, and it's not predatory at all. Everything is really good, equally priced. You can get the premium currency just by doing stages. Everything about this game, it's the multiplayer game that I always wanted, and it's just PvE is so much more my speed nowadays. I don't have time to learn to be competitive and flick the wrist for and do the knife jumps and all these bro, I don't have time for that, bro. As I get older, I just find I enjoy PvE way more than I enjoy PvP, and that's exactly what Helldivers is. It's that PvE greatness.
Wow, that's I knew you loved this game, but you really love this game. So
Bro, I'm telling you, when you came into the store the other day, and I was like, bro, come on. I know you got to pay for PlayStation Plus, but just give me a month. Give me a month to let me sell you on the game, bro.
Yeah, it's not really my genre of game. I don't play a lot of shooters and online games in general, but the narrative around this game, other than that blunder that happened earlier in the year, the narrative around this game has been incredibly positive. And it's just so good to see a game that's both mechanically and from a business standpoint, like hitting all the right notes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
awesome.
it takes a lot for me to get into games as a service nowadays because most of the time they make the mistake of not respecting your time. I fell off Fortnite earlier in the year, and I usually would take like breaks from Fortnite and then get back into it. I just have no desire to go back anytime soon because like when you get your battle
But
pass,
what about Miku?
you haven't. Hey man, I might I might buy the skin and then just uninstall again. But like it's just you're locked into a specific window that says you have to do all this stuff before this date, and it makes it feel more like a chore than you're playing the game.
Hmm.
But not
Yeah,
with
that's one
Helldivers.
big complaint I have with Fortnite. I will never own Spider Gwen, and I'm not happy about that.
Well, I mean, I think they just recently started putting battle pass skins in the store, didn't they?
Yeah, but anything that was before that change won't be in the store.
Oh, well, that sucks. I have Spider Gwen. Damn, that's rough.
You should sell me your account.
Anyway, that'll be $9,000.
Oh,
All right, you have my email. I'll expect the e-transfer. But yeah, boys, I think that's basically it. I think we wrapped it up. Still over an hour with only 3 each, and you guys both had the same game of the year. So that's even less to talk about, guys. How do we do this every year?
We like games. Video games are good. Video games
Video
are
games
life.
are good. Yeah, all right, let's get these outros started. Trent, where get your outro going, bro.
I just finished watching the credits for Astrobot. Very good game.
Peak.
Game of the year. I want you to know that next year, there's 2 FNAF games coming out,
Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
and one of them is FNAF Kart.
No, you're lying. That's not a thing. I would have heard
What?
about that by now. He's lying. He's lying. That's not a thing. There's no way.
Look it up.
I'm Googling it right now.
Me too. 5 laps at Freddy's? Are you shitting my nuts?
There's no
Come
way that's
on.
real.
That was one of the anniversary games that they announced.
Holy shit.
Why?
It's real. This can't be real. What? Rouge the Bat? What is
See, I'm
going
not sure if
Oh.
it's going to be that one or the other one called Secret of the Mimic, but I guess we'll have to find out next year.
Hold on. This game looks like dog shit, bro. Who is making this? This is held
Oh, no.
together by butter and wet farts. Like, what is this? Split
I
screen?
think that's putting it generous. It's made by Click Team, which made a game engine and is now making like FNAF games.
The audacity of Steam to tell me similar games you've played and they have Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. That is not true, and I'm uninstalling Steam. Oh my god.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh. Okay,
I would have
well,
expected like Garfield Kart Furious Racing.
see, I still haven't played that. I just own it because Joe hates me. But
I own it because it was 49 cents.
wait, this FNAF game doesn't have online either. It just says split screen. Oh my gosh, bro. How am I gonna play with
Okay, so I'm
Jacksepticeye?
probably not going to get that one then.
Sharon, I think we have to buy this game and stream it. You're gonna have to come over to my house. And
You know what?
We're just gonna stream this game.
I'm down for it.
All right, Hayden, you want to come too?
Oh, do I have to?
I get
Bro,
to be Freddy Fazbear.
Okay, well, I call Chica.
I've never played a FNAF game. I don't.
Will Vanessa be in the game?
I don't know. I think there's only 12 characters.
Damn.
Is there a gorilla?
No.
All right, I will not be joining.
That's very unfortunate. There's a fox. You like Star Fox?
I like a Star Fox game.
All right. Finish your intro, Trent.
Subscribe to Trent HK on YouTube. I don't post videos.
I was about to say, I was like, dude, you upload, but no. All right, Hayden, take us away, brother.
Yeah, I don't really do YouTube anymore. I live close to these fine gentlemen, so sometimes I will be on Blake's streams. Otherwise, I use Blue Sky a bit. So HaydenA.bluesky.social. I don't use Twitter or X a whole lot anymore, but if you ever want to, see what I'm talking about, mostly Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong adjacent stuff, then give me a follow.
Of course, I will have links to all of their content below. Yeah, what was I about to say? Oh, Hayden, right? Yeah, that stream game that you had that you wanted us to stream, that one like with the balloons. Yeah, we'll have to get that on stream.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get Trent and Triple S in on that too. Okay.
Yep.
It'll be crazy.
Yep.
It'll be crazy. But guys, this has been Westtown HD. Thank you for coming out. If you're here, I don't know how you found this video because I'm sure I'm nowhere in YouTube's algorithm anymore. But if you're here, I just want to thank you for listening to us speak. This year was a great year for games. Next year's going to be even better. We have a new Nintendo console on the horizon. I can only imagine what we're going to be talking about this time next year. I'm so excited, guys. We have no idea what's coming. It's GTA is going to be out next year, man. The first GTA game in like 12 years.
Oh,
Hayden's
got
fiance.
delayed.
Hayden's what? You're lying to me.
2026.
Says who?
Look it up.
GTA 6 release date. GTA 6 trailer.
I thought it was that it's officially 2025, but there's been rumblings that, like, very credible rumblings that it'll be delayed. I thought that's what I heard.
Oh, I just heard this from a guy at work.
Oh, Trent, I don't want to be that guy, but he was huffling the Michelin tar paint because there is nothing online saying it's been delayed.
I've got good news for him then.
There was 10 hours ago saying, I've been sleepless for days, studying Rockstar for the second GTA 6 trailer. Anyway, so like I was saying, GTA 6 will be out next year. Mark my words. Hayden will come home from work, and his lovely fiance, or wife at the time, will say, honey, I had a rough day. I'm just going to shoot these people in the street in GTA 6 for the PS5. And Hayden's going to say, you do that, dear. I'm going to go take a shit.
Yep,
that will happen.
That's what happens with the 5th GTA. Oh.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We're getting out of there. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace, people.
Play Tropical Freeze.
Play Okami.